You've been watching Pi struggle below 35 cents, seeing the price drop over 80% in just 6 months, and wondering if all your time and energy were worth it. I've been there too, staring at charts and questioning everything, but here's what I think happened. Something major just dropped that could completely change Pi's trajectory, and barely anyone is talking about it properly. I believe the very thing we've all been waiting for is finally starting to unfold, but the market doesn't understand it yet. In this video, I'm going to break down why Pi Network's latest move with on-ramp money could be the game changer we've all been waiting for, and honestly, why I think this might actually be the perfect time to pay attention. Make sure to follow my Telegram and Facebook pages for exclusive updates. Links are in the description below, because that's where I share the real insights first. You know what, this isn't just another hopeful price prediction, this is about understanding what's really happening when everyone else is looking the other way. You know what frustrates me most about the current Pi situation? Everyone's obsessing over the wrong numbers, and I think it's causing people to miss the bigger picture completely. While traders are panicking about the price sitting at $0.344, something absolutely massive just happened that 99% of people completely overlooked. Pi Network just became directly purchasable in over 60 countries through on-ramp money, connecting with payment giants like Alipay, Maya, and Gcash. Now here's my take. This isn't just another exchange listing like we've seen with other coins, this is laying the groundwork for something much bigger. I honestly believe this move could trigger the comeback that many of you have been hoping for, and I'm going to share 3 specific indicators that suggest Pi's strategy is working exactly as they planned it. You know what I think sets Pi apart from every other cryptocurrency project right now? While other tokens are desperately chasing quick exchange listings and those pump and dump cycles that make headlines, Pi Network is quietly building something that actually matters for long-term success. And frankly, I respect that approach. The on-ramp integration gives us access to over 170 payment methods globally. But here's what I think most people don't understand. This isn't about making it easier to buy Pi just to hold it and hope for price pumps. It's about creating real pathways for people to actually use Pi in their daily lives. Think about it this way, and this is just my opinion. But when you can buy Pi directly through the same app you use to pay for groceries or send money to your family, that's when adoption becomes natural and widespread instead of forced. You know what this reminds me of? The early days of PayPal, when they focused on making digital payments simple before anyone even cared about the technology behind it. I honestly think Pi is following a similar blueprint, prioritizing real utility over temporary hype, and in my experience, that's usually how lasting success happens. The controlled rollout strategy is actually genius when you really think about it. And I'll tell you why I believe this. Instead of flooding exchanges with tokens and creating those massive price swings that scare away normal people, Pi Network is releasing tokens through regulated partners like OnRamp, Banxa, and TransFi. You know what this means in my opinion? Every single token that enters circulation has a specific purpose and destination, which reduces the kind of wild speculation that ultimately destroys most cryptocurrency projects. Dr. Altcoin recently explained this approach as funneling tokens toward real usage, apps, commerce, and peer-to-peer transactions instead of fueling short-lived speculation. And honestly, I think he's spot on with that analysis. Here's something that genuinely excites me as someone who's been following Pi for years. Europe just launched a Pi-based exchange-traded product. You know what that signals to me? Institutional investors are starting to recognize Pi's compliance-focused approach as a competitive advantage, not a limitation like some critics claim. While other projects are battling regulatory uncertainty and getting shut down left and right, Pi is building partnerships with traditional finance from the ground up, and I think that's incredibly smart positioning. I know exactly what you're thinking right now. But the price is still dropping, so how can this be good news? You're absolutely right to point that out. And I'm not going to sugarcoat that reality, because I respect you too much for that. Pi lost 4.5% in the last 24 hours and couldn't hold above 35 cents despite the on-ramp announcement, and yes, that's disappointing on the surface. You know what though? I actually think this validates Pi's long-term strategy, and here's why. If this were just another pump-and-dump project designed to make quick money, we would have seen massive price spikes followed by devastating crashes that wipe out regular investors. Instead, we're seeing steady infrastructure building while the price finds its natural support levels, and in my experience, that's how real projects build lasting value. The weak buying pressure and steady selling we're witnessing isn't necessarily bad news, even though it feels terrible right now. You know what it tells me? The market is still focused on short-term gains rather than long-term utility, which means the smart money hasn't arrived yet. But here's the thing about building real value that I've learned from years in this space. It happens gradually, then suddenly. We're still in that gradual phase where most people don't see what's coming, but I believe the foundations being laid right now will determine Pi's success in the years ahead. Most people miss that Pi network isn't trying to win the crypto game the usual way, and that's what makes it stand out. Instead of chasing quick exchange listings and price pumps, Pi is focused on building real-world utility that everyday people can use. The core team has made it clear that integration comes before price growth, and the on-ramp move shows that vision in action, marking just the start of a bigger transformation. You know what I think comes next? More mainstream adoption through everyday payment systems, more real-world use cases that make Pi actually useful, and eventually, the kind of organic demand that creates sustainable price growth instead of temporary bubbles. The question isn't whether Pi will succeed anymore. In my opinion, it's whether current holders have the patience to see this strategy through to completion, because I genuinely believe it will pay off for those who stick around. You know what I think separates successful cryptocurrency investors from those who get burned over and over? They recognize real value before the mainstream market does, and they have the patience to let that value develop naturally. Pi Network is building something fundamentally different from the speculation-driven projects that dominate the headlines and crash just as quickly. And honestly, today's infrastructure developments prove to me that the long-term vision is becoming reality, even if the price doesn't reflect it yet. If this analysis helped you understand what's really happening with Pi Network beyond just the price charts, please smash that like button and let me know in the comments what aspect of Pi's strategy excites you most or concerns you most. I read every single comment. Don't forget to subscribe for more honest, no-nonsense analysis on Pi Network developments, and seriously, make sure you're following my Telegram and Facebook pages for exclusive updates that I don't share anywhere else. Those links are waiting for you in the description, and that's where our real community discussions happen. You know what I really want to hear from you though? Are you still holding your Pi, or have you lost faith in the project completely? More importantly, does today's news actually change your perspective on Pi's potential, or are you still skeptical? Drop your honest thoughts below, because I value your insights and they help shape these videos to give you exactly what you need to hear. I genuinely believe the Pi revolution might be moving slower than any of us hoped, but it's still moving forward with purpose, and those who understand this strategy will be positioned perfectly when mainstream adoption finally arrives and the price catches up to the fundamentals.